Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Hari Om. Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Sravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Bhurida Janaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishna. Welcome to the readings and reflections, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are in the chapter Advice to the Brahmos. I am reading the English version translated by Swami Nikhilananda. Page 212. The master danced and sang. All remained spellbound as they watched. The chief musician sang the words of a gopi. "O flute, pray stop. Can you not go to sleep?" One of the musicians added a new line. "How can it sleep? It rests on Krishna's lips." The master sat down. The music went on. They sang, assuming the mood of Radha. "My eyes are blinded. My ears are deaf. I have lost the power of smell. All my senses are paralyzed. But alas, why am I left alone?" Finally, the musicians sang of the union of Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna are joined at last in the Nidhu Grove of Vrindavan. Incomparable their beauty and limitless their love. The one half shines like yellow gold, the other like bluest sapphire. Round the neck on one side, a wild flower garland hangs, and on the other, there swings a necklace of precious gems. A ring of gold adorns one ear, a ring of shell the other. Half of the brow is bright as the blazing midday sun. The other softly gleams with the glow of the rising moon. Upon one half of the head, a graceful peacock feather stands, and from the other half, there hangs a braid of hair. As the music came to a close, the master said, "Bhagavata, Bhakta, Bhagavan," and bowed low to the devotees seated on all sides. He touched with his forehead the ground made holy by the singing of the sacred music. It was now about 9:30 in the evening. Surendra entertained the master and the devotees with a sumptuous feast. When it was time to take leave of their host, the master, the devotees, and Surendra entered the worship hall and stood before the image. Surendra to the master, "No one has sung anything about the Divine Mother today." Master, pointing to the image, "Ah, look at the beauty of the hall. The light of the Divine Mother seems to have lighted the whole place. Such a sight fills the heart with joy. Grief and desire for pleasure disappear. But can one not see God as formless reality? Of course one can, but not if one has the slightest trace of worldliness. The rishis of olden times renounced everything and then contemplated Satchidananda, the indivisible Brahman. The Brahmagyanis of modern times," there is a note here, a reference to the members of the Brahma Samaj. "The Brahmagyanis of modern times sing of God as immutable, homogeneous. It sounds very dry to me. It seems as if the singers themselves don't enjoy the sweetness of God's bliss. One doesn't want a refreshing drink made with sugar candy if one is satisfied with mere choir's treacle. Just see how happy you are looking at this image of the deity. But those who always cry after the formless reality do not get anything. They realize nothing either inside or outside." The master sang a song to the Divine Mother. "O Mother, ever blissful as thou art, do not deprive thy worthless child of bliss. My mind knows nothing but thy lotus feet. The king of death scowls at me terribly. Tell me, mother, what shall I say to him? It was my heart's desire to sail my boat across the ocean of this mortal life. O Durga, with thy name upon my lips, I never dreamt that thou wouldst drown me here in the dark waters of this shoreless sea. Both day and night, I swim among its waves, chanting thy saving name. Yet, even so, there is no end, O Mother, to my grief. If I am drowned this time, in such a plight, no one will ever chant thy name again. Again the song. Repeat, O mind, my mother's Durga's hallowed name. Whoever treads the path, repeating Durga, Durga, Shiva himself protects with his almighty trident. Thou art the day, O mother, thou art the dusk and the night. Sometimes thou art man, and sometimes woman thou art. Thou mayest even say to me, step aside, go away. Yet I shall cling to thee, O Durga, unto thy feet. As thine anklets I shall cling, making the tinkling sound. Mother, when as a kite thou soarest in the sky, there in the water beneath, as a minnow I shall be swimming. Upon me thou wilt pounce and pierce me through with thy claws. Thus, when the breath of life forsakes me in thy grip, do not deny me the shelter of thy lotus feet. The master saluted the divine image. As he came down the steps, he called softly to Rakal, where are my shoes? Are they missing? As the master got into the carriage, Surendra and the other devotees bowed down before him. Then the carriage started for Dakshineswar. The moon still lighted the streets. In the song, Mother, when as a kite thou soarest in the sky, there is a note here. According to Hindu mythology, the Divine Mother at one time took the form of a bird similar to the kite. So, welcome to this 48th week. This chapter, Advice to the Brahmas, is concluded in page 214. So, today it's a very short passage only. I may not go into the next chapter, 10th. In case we have time, then I shall go. But I find in this closing or concluding passages of this chapter, we found that Sri Ramakrishna visiting on invitation to Surendra's house. It was a Sunday, April 15th, 1883, and Surendra has made arrangement to perform Annapurna Puja. So we saw in the previous weeks what is Annapurna Puja, etc. And Surendra's friend has come, Vaidyanath, and how Sri Ramakrishna was talking to him. And then suddenly the topic changed to the beautiful musicians singing about Gauranga. And then they started singing on Radha Krishna. So these are all the bhajans on that day were on Radha and Krishna. But they are in the place where the performance of Annapurna Puja was done. So Annapurna is none other than another name for Mother Durga. So there was no song on Durga on that day. So when everything was over, when the program was over, that is the music came to a close, so Sri Ramakrishna entered into the inside hall where the puja was being done. And then they were given a sumptuous feast, as Yam notes here. So, and then at the time of taking leave from Surendra, they again entered into the puja hall. There Sri Ramakrishna stood and looked at the image of Mother Annapurna. At that time, Surendra remembers, what? Today, none of us sang anything about the Divine Mother, he says. But Master is unaware of what he commented. Master is looking at the image and pointing to the image. Sri Ramakrishna is telling Surendra, look at the beauty of the hall. The light of the Divine Mother seems to have lighted the whole place. This is one of the beauteous statement, a charming statement of Vedanta. Who lights everything? The disciple is asked, the disciple is told, who lights everything? So the disciple gives an answer. Why? The sun is a great lighter of this universe. Can anybody equal to the sun? The sun has got so much power, so much energy, and gives out light. And wherever sun rays comes on, every place, every item, every nook and corner is lighted up. Then Guru lowers his voice and asks him, at night what happens? Naturally, sun is not there in the night. Then who is lighting? Then he says, without any hesitation, the disciple says, okay, if the sun is not there, moon is there. But on Amavasya night, moon is also not there. Then who is lighting up this universe? The stars are there. Stars are not always visible. When it is fully cloudy, it's not visible. And then you go into sleep in the night. So who lights up in your sleep? How do you see the dream? For seeing through these eyes, you require light. If there is no light, if pitch dark is there, you can't see anything. So you must require some light to see the object. So in the dream, our mind is having an object. We are able to see ourselves moving here and there, or we shall see others moving here and there. So all the movements, etc., that we are seeing, who is lighting in the dream? So the disciple becomes absolutely silent. Then he wonders, who is the light? Then Guru says, the light, the Atma Jyoti, that is reflected there in the dream. So buddhi is a receptacle that reflects the light of the Atman. When does it reflect? When buddhi becomes pure and pure and pure. If it is covered with dust, if it is covered with kalmasha, that is impurities, then that buddhi cannot reflect the Atma Jyoti. Atma Jyoti means the light from the self. Self, capital S, not a small s. Capital S self is what I mean. So Atma Jyoti, the light from the Atman, that illuminates the buddhi. As such, the buddhi is also attached to this body as the mind, as the chitta, as the manas, and as the ahankara. So the buddhi is also part of this subtle body, and it is purely attached to this gross body. So long it has got attachment to the gross body, it is not purified. So buddhi has to be purified. That's why in Hanuman Chalisa, Tulsidas says, Sri Guru Charana Saroja Raj. Raj, he says, the powder. Nijamana Mukura Sudhar. Nijamana Mukura. That is a mirror of my mind's mirror. That mind's mirror is absolutely dark now. And it is full of dust. How do you clean that mirror? To clean the mirror, you require some soap powder. So you take the soap powder. So the man asked, where do you get the soap powder? He said, when your guru comes to you, or when you go to guru, take the charana saroja, raja, the lotus feet of your guru's raj, the powder, the dust. So the dust of guru's feet is a holy feet. So there is a dust falling there, and then you take the dust. And with that, what you do? You clean the manamukura sudhar. Your own mirror, the mental mirror, you start cleaning. And when it is cleansed, then the mind becomes pure. And in that pure mind, and pure mind is nothing but the nearest point of realization of Atman, self-realization. Atmavalokana, as Ramanujacharya used to say, Atmavalokan. You can see your Atman. You have darshan of Atman. Straight you can see your Atman. How do you see the Atman? The buddhi helps you. But buddhi has to be completely tempered, completely purified. So a purified mind becomes the mirror and the Atma Jyoti flashes on that. Then you see everything is lighted up. So he says that Atman is none other than, if you put it in a devotee's language, a bhakta's language, that is the light from the Divine Mother has come and it has lighted the whole place. There are, of course, other physical lights also were there, but then the light has come. Such a sight fills the heart with joy. When there is a luminosity, it actually fills the heart with joy. In darkness, you get despondent. In darkness, you feel very disappointed with the darkness all around. But the moment light comes, the heart becomes fully joyful. So he says, the sight fills the heart with joy. Grief and desire for pleasure both disappear. If you have griefs and it disappears, that's why people go to temple. And in the temple, in the ancient temples, we didn't have electricity in those days. At that time, they had to light the lamp. So when the lamp is lighted in the Garbhagriha, that is the sanctum sanctorum, you can see the face of the Lord. What a wonderful it is. And if you can close your eyes at that time, after seeing the image of and then in the light, you close your, then within yourself, you can see the same image. So inside there is a light. As the mind purifies, the Atma Jyoti comes and you can witness everything. So he says, there the grief and desire for pleasure, they disappear. But then when you see such a beautiful form of God, Sri Ramakrishna is little sad. What is the sadness of Sri Ramakrishna here? What do you find? I find from this sentence, he says, can one not see God as formless reality? Of course one can. He says there is God in form and is so beautiful and is full of luminosity and how much joy it gives to our heart. Still, some people want to have the joy of having a formless reality. Nothing wrong in that. But then he says, it is not possible if one has the slightest trace of worldliness. There only the problems comes. This avyakta, that which cannot be expressed. Vyakta means expressed. Avyakta means cannot be expressed. So this avyakta, this Purna Brahman, which cannot be expressed in terms of words and which has got no form, formless, arupa. That arupa experience cannot be told also. That arupa, if one has to see, he must be absolutely, not even the slightest trace of worldliness should be there in him. Then he cannot realize this situation. This is a grand situation in man's spiritual evolution. And then he will not be able to realize this arupa if he has got a bodily attraction. So you must cut off this body attachment and then go above and above, and you go to a level where you do not have trace of body, as we saw a few weeks back about Trailanga Swami. In Benares, Trailanga Swami used to say, Sri Ramakrishna used to tell him that he was a walking Shiva, mobile Shiva. Lord Shiva himself has come to us and is walking before our eyes. Absolutely no trace of worldliness, no trace of the body consciousness. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, we find many times he goes out of body conscious. He's standing there dancing. The dance stops, music stops, and his eyes closes half, and then he is somewhere else. And he's standing like a statue. Yam writes, when he looks at Sri Ramakrishna, and this is what appears to him. He writes, Sri Ramakrishna is now standing like a statue. Terrible it is. That means completely cut off. There is no trace of body consciousness. In that stage, one can enjoy it. But then, when you are having full body consciousness, when you are thinking about fighting with this person, that person, and you are writing the board that others should not enter in this temple, this is how Brahma Samaj did that. So in another place you find that. He's asking Vijay Krishna Goswami, why do you have that board? That no other should person come here. So like that. So with all these type of differences are being multiplied. All coming with the root of this body, centering around this body, all the differences come. If you cut off the body, then there is no differences between us. We are all one. The oneness can be gained only when the differences are removed. But when you have the body consciousness, naturally the differences will be appearing. So with all the differences, you still say God has got no form. The Brahma Samaj people, they used to think God should be worshipped without any form. But then you are having body consciousness. How can you imagine God without form? If you have the trace of worldliness in you, that is what Sri Ramakrishna is sad about that. Why not? You have God with form. If you have body consciousness, it doesn't matter. You can worship God with form. You can slowly start developing love towards that image and what is represented by that image. And that deity will slowly talk to you. As we saw yesterday, how Balagopal used to talk to that lady who was traveling with me in the train. So likewise, the deities, you may see simply as an image, but then it is life-full image. And that image can talk to you and you start developing love. And that deity, that is his responsibility to raise you to higher and higher levels in spiritual consciousness. So you don't need to worry about that. So that is the Bhakti Marga. Now he says, of course, the rishis of olden times renounced everything and then contemplated Satchidananda. Is it easy to remember Satchidananda? Is that they are only mere words. Sat, Chit, Ananda. 3 words. In English, we always translate as absolute existence, absolute knowledge, absolute bliss. In Sanskrit, of course, you don't need to write this absolute. It is understood. Sat, Chit, Ananda. So in existence, in short term, I have to explain this term, Satchidananda, is this way. Existence. We know what is existence, being. You know what it is. A small worm, a small ant moves there. The ant is existing. It is living. A tree is growing. So you know, yes, it is existing. Fruits are coming. It is existing. Likewise, the existence you can see in small ways. Think of this existence in a magnitude of this entire cosmos. The whole cosmos is existing. Say, for instance, this Bhumi, this earth is moving. And around this earth, moon is moving. And the whole group, earth and moon, together, they move around the sun. So this called solar family. In this solar family, we have got others also. Like Surya, Chandra, Angara, Buddha, Guru, Shukra, Shani, Rahu, Ketu. All these are all in that family. Likewise, there are millions of solar families are there. So all of them in one solar family, and in that one earth, we are residing. How tiny we are, you see. So the grand cosmos, if you think of that, and it is existing. So you increase your thinking and then go on, imagine to the last highest, which is called absoluteness, in absolute. So philosophy comes there. So in absolute existence, if you see, and that is the supreme Brahman. So Upanishads call it Brahman. They don't call it by any name of the deity. Neither they call it Vishnu or Shiva or Brahma or Indra, Varuna, etc. You can deify them. All these names can be deified further to Brahman level. But Brahman is something completely apart from all this. And that highest consciousness, that existence is Sat. So in English we translate it as absolute existence. Like that Chit, knowledge, each one has got some type of knowledge. If I know something, other person knows much more than me. I know some subject, somebody else knows other subjects. So there's always, you find, the greater than you, there are people who are knowing more than you. So whatever you knew, so in Tamil, there is a great proverb written by Avayar, the great old lady. She said, Katrathu kaiyalavu, kalladadu ulagalavu. She said, the universe, what is the size of the universe? You do not know. Then what I have not learned is the size of the universe. What I have learned is only this much. If you catch like this. That's why Newton's beautiful quotation is that Newton says, I know so much, like that people tell me, you know so much. But I know I am a little boy sitting on the shore of the sea and counting the pebbles. That's what I know. But people say, oh, I know so much. What I know? I do not know anything. Socrates also said, I know not. And if you know not, then only you know. If you know that you know, then you do not know. So that not knowing is our condition, because that we are small. Our mind is small, our head is small, brain is small. So everything is in a particular condition. In that condition we are there. So now imagine taking the knowledge level to the highest, to the absolute level, and that is Brahman. So that is called Chit. And then Ananda, bliss. So the Ananda is the word. It is not a pleasure, it is not Sukha. Sukha also is giving you pleasure. But the Ananda is bliss. How the bliss comes? There are so small Sukha Anubhava we have got. Small experience of small pleasures. Even in eating, there's a small pleasure. Seeing, small pleasure. All the five senses, you can get pleasure. Now imagine to the highest scale, to the absolute scale of some type of pleasure. So you call X, which Upanishad called Brahman. So it's called Ananda. So Sat Chit Ananda, absolute existence, absolute knowledge, absolute bliss. At the absolute level. And that cannot be realized if you have a trace of body consciousness, trace of worldliness, as Ramakrishna says. And then he says that indivisible Brahman, but the Brahmagyanis of the modern times, here he makes some fun of the Brahma Samaj people. Because Brahma Samaj people, they talk about God without form. But then, not only they have trace of worldliness, they are fully bound in worldliness. So with that result, you are talking about God without form. It is not possible. So he says, it sounds very dry to me, he says. When I hear them speaking like that, sitting in the hall, and they talk about Brahman and Satchidananda, etc., it feels so dry to me. And when they sing, they have music, of course. There's a Brahma Sangeet itself is there. So in Brahma Sangeet, some beautiful songs are there. I used to enjoy this Bengali Brahma Sangeet when one Brahmachari in Ranchi who used to sing. He was called Bhola Maharaj. And he used to sing some of the songs. Even Swamiji had great interest in Brahma Sangeet. Some of the Brahma Sangeet which I heard from Bhola Maharaj, even now I remember. So beautiful singing. And the words are so wonderful. And it is, some songs were written by Rabindranath Tagore also. So the Brahma Sangeet, they are singing, but then the singers themselves don't enjoy the sweetness naturally, because that sweetness is different. This sweetness is different. When you enjoy the Satchidananda without the trace of worldliness, that sweetness is the highest sweetness. So it's called Anandam, bliss. absolute bliss. But this sweetness with attachment, etc., you are enjoying the music. What type of sweetness it is? It is, so Sri Ramakrishna gives a beautiful analogy. He says, you see, one doesn't want a refreshing drink made with sugar candy if one is satisfied with mere coarse treacle. So when I read this English one, coarse treacle, I didn't know what is treacle. So I had to go into a dictionary and find out. So treacle is a molasses, or what in Indian language we call it good. In Tamil it is called vellam. So there is a sugar candy. Juice is available. And then there is a molasses juice also is available. So this molasses juice you drink, you find very tasty. Yes, very good. So very well done it is. But then there is a sugar candy juice which is much, much higher than this taste. But then when somebody points out to you, look, come here, you can get sugar candy juice. But say, no, I am quite satisfied with this. Molasses is quite enough for me. If you say like that, how foolish it will be. That is what he says. They seem to be satisfied with this molasses juice instead of getting refreshed with the sugar candy juice. And then he looks at Surendra. Surendra is performing that Annapurna Puja, you must remember that. So Surendra, because he has done that puja, he is extremely happy. When you do puja, the next moment, you can't be angry. You can't show your bad emotions will never come up if you are satisfied with your puja. That's why when you see the pujaris doing some great puja, and then after the puja, their mind is absolutely stable. They are absolutely peaceful. When the pujari rises from the puja place and then comes out and turns his face, and when you see his face, you find his absolutely peacefulness. And you would like to put your hands together and bow down to him. Such great puja we have seen. I have seen in my childhood days, Sringeri Shankaracharya doing Amman puja. So your whole family, we all used to go there. And we used to go and sit. And then we used to watch the puja. It goes to about 1.5 hours to 2 hours he used to do. And once the puja is done, you can see the absolute tripti in that personality. And he comes down and he sits and accepts the pranams. So we all used to go do pranam to him. And you can see the face. The face is something, it is not material. Though he is a man like us. So the same type of face he has. But then that face gives the luminosity as if some light is coming out from his body. You can see that. That is because during the puja time, the pujari, has made himself one with the deity. So the deity's light is reflected on the pujari's physical features. His mind is, of course, purified by the light, but his physical features also get the light. And that is how that pujari becomes so wonderful. And he says, but here you don't have that. And so looking at Surendra, Sri Ramakrishna says, just see how happy you are. Because the happiness Surendra, Sri Ramakrishna it is an infection. It has caught him. He says, looking at this image of the deity, how happy you are. You simply look at the image which you have done puja, and looking at the image, you are feeling very happy. But those who always cry after the formless reality, that is Nirguna Nirakara Brahman, do not get anything because their mind is attached to the worldliness. They realize nothing, either inside or outside. That is the situation. So Sri Ramakrishna, whenever that occasion comes, he will immediately make you understand the highest philosophy. What you are aiming at, that he will remind you. So even in the Murti Puja place, he reminds us how the God has got no form, and he has got form, and he has got formless also. Formless and form, both he is. So that Supreme Brahman, that formless Brahman, he reminds us. Then seeing the Divine Mother, because Surendra told when he entered the hall that nobody sang a song on Divine Mother. So Sri Ramakrishna himself sang a song on Divine Mother. What is that song? Very beautiful song. These type of songs are there in every language. I have heard this type of songs in Tamil as well, and then in Kannada also I have heard, and then in Bengali you have got plenty of these types of songs. What are these types of? What is the specialty of this song? The song that is the singer has got some abhimaan. Abhimana means he is little restless and he finds that what is due to me is not given to me. That is called abhimana. So he feels, the poet, the devotee, he feels, oh mother, I am so much devoted to you. I take your name all the time. And then you have put me in this ocean of samsara, the ocean of worldliness. And I am going here and there without finding the way. Even in spite of my thinking about you, you are just pushing me into this worldliness. Why? Why do you do that? You can ask. You can ask God. In Puri, if you go there in Jagannath's temple, the local people come there. They all speak Odia language. And in Odia language, they shout at Puri Jagannath. First time when I went there, I heard them, but I could hear they are even using very bad words, which you cannot utter in a respectable community. Such bad words they utter, and then they go on haranguing him. I didn't understand. Then our pujari was there. Then I asked him what they are talking, what they are saying like that. Then he told me, that is the sign of bhakti these people have for Jagannatha. Jagannatha is not something, a god to be worshipped and kept away. Jagannath is one of our family man. He belongs to our family. So I can tell anything to him. So if my brother comes, can I not say something strong words to him? If any relative comes to my house and that relative has failed to do some duty, can I not take him to task? So I can shout at him. That is the relationship the devotees have gained with their Ishtadevata. It's one of the beautiful Bhakti Yoga teaches this. You must create a relationship. And that's how these type of songs, they actually accuse the mother. Why you are not giving grace to me? And he even warns mother. What a terrible thing, the devotee is warning the mother, because you are not looking after me. So, and if I get drowned in this ocean of worldliness, mind you, he is warning the mother, no one will ever chant thy name, he says. Again, no one will ever chant your name. Such great devotion, that relationship. How beautifully he says, oh mother, excuse me. Yes, okay. Oh mother, ever blissful thou art. You had no problem with dukkha. Always you had ananda, ever blissful, always. Do not deprive thy worthless child. Of course, the poet says, yes, I am worthless child. He agrees to that. But I don't deserve to get that bliss. My mind knows nothing except your lotus feet. If that is the condition for being a worthless child, let it be. I am your worthless, because you are not looking at me. So I am a worthless child. If I am wanted child, you will come to me, you will take me in your lap, you will feed me, you will show all the love to me, but you are not doing any such thing. Though my mind is at the lotus feet. The king of death has come. Yama is standing at the entrance of my house. So this Yama is standing, he scowls at me. Scowling means, making a face. So Yama is looking at me and scowling at me means he's telling me, well, time has come. Come like that, he's telling. Tell me, mother, what shall I say to him? Are you going to save me? Or you are going to allow me to go with Yama? So what a beautiful sense. It was my heart's desire to sail my boat. Then he is coming to an analogy, the boat. Because it's a ocean of worldliness he talked about. In that ocean, I am sitting in a boat now. It's a small boat only. across the ocean of this mortal life, this coming and going, how many times I have done Janma Marana, Janma Marana. So all the time I am doing Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jatare Shayanam. So again I have got Janma, again I have got Mrityu, that is death, again I have got birth. Again after death, what happens? Again I go and lie down in the womb of my mother. So this is coming again and again and again. He says, O Durga, with your name in my lips, I never dreamt that you would drown me like this. Now I am drowning in this ocean. You are seeing that I am drowning. You are not saving me. Your name is on my lips. And what is this type of sea? This other seas, Atlantic Ocean you say, or Indian Ocean you say, the seas have got shore. There are shores are there. You can go and see the shore. You can get escape from these seas. But this samsara sea is a shoreless sea. He says it is a shoreless sea. There is no shore I can see anywhere. And in that, and the waters are not blue like the ocean waters. They are all dark waters. I am afraid of these dark waters. And then he says, day and night, I swim amongst its waves. Waves are coming again and again, and I am swimming. I am getting tired of swimming now. How long will you swim? It says, chanting thy name. All the time, I am swimming, of course, chanting thy name. Yet, even so, in spite of my chanting your name, you are not listening to my grief, O mother. So, I am warning you, he says, if I am drowned in this time, then no one will ever worship you. He gives a name. Then mother says, my devotee is warning me, and it will be true. Devotees also can curse the deities, Krishna was cursed by the rishis. Yes. Hanuman was cursed by the rishis. Humans can curse the devatas. Devatas are also controlled by your words if you have such a devotion. So Devi is afraid. And she comes and takes him out from that ocean of samsara. That is understood. So he says, that is this type of songs, are very beautiful to listen. So when you actually sing with the tune and tabla playing along with that, and how beautiful the song can go into your mind, and you can slowly absorb in the thought. And Master did not stop there. Again he sang another song. And this time he says, he is instructing to his mind. The song is like this, you can, O mind. So the many poets are like Tulsidas are also, O mind, it says addresses. So the addressing the mind, the poet says something. And he is keeping that person, that O mind, is a separate person. So when you make it a separate person, you can address him and you can tell so many other things, But you can't tell yourself, all these things. So he addresses him as, O mind, repeat my Durga's name. What type of name it is? Hallowed name. The name is not an ordinary name. Durga's name has been told by hundreds and millions of sages in the past. And even now, people are taking the name of Durga. When people go out of the ashram, I don't say bye-bye, tata. I say Durga, Durga. So while going, you must hear the name of Durga. When you come out of your house, when you sit in the car and start your car, say Durga, Durga. Twice enough. Durga, Durga. That name has to be told. Even today, the people are chanting Durga's name means it is a hallowed name. And he says, whoever treads the path repeating Durga, Durga, whoever walks on the road repeating Durga, Durga, if any danger comes to him, it is not that danger cannot come, because his own karma phala is there. I have done such bad karma in the past, so some danger is trying to pounce upon me as a tiger. So it is waiting at the corner of the road, and I am walking there. And at that time, I decide to cross the road. At that time, from somewhere, one vehicle comes and dashes on me. So an accident happens. So at that time, when that accident is supposed to happen, what happens? because I'm chanting the Durga's name, Shiva himself comes and protects me with his almighty trident. Shiva has got a weapon, and the weapon's name is called Trishula. It's got three pointed uh, corners are there. So Trishula. This Trishula is the wielder of Trishula is Lord Shiva. So Shiva comes there at that time to protect you from the danger. And the almighty Trishul, that Trishul can do anything. It can kill even the death. So he comes to protect you. And then, thou art the day, O mother. The entire, while this day, they full of light, you are. Then you are the dusk and the dark night. All the three sandhyas, morning and then dusk time and then night. All the three times are you are. Trikala. All the Trikala you are. And then sometimes you are as a man. Sometimes you are a woman. So somebody asked, so whether Sri Ramakrishna himself says that I do not know. I do not know. See, this is something a higher concept in religious matters, where the deity is no more appearing in any sex-oriented form. So, if you think of Krishna, why Krishna has got so many ornaments, like a girl? This question comes. So, in one of the religious discourse I attended at my young time, that discourse was given by one great Tamil scholar as well as a great Shiva Bhakta. I am very fond of him. His name was Thiru Muruga Kripananda Variyar. So Kripananda Variyar is his name. So he was a great devotee of Lord Muruga, and he used to give lots of lectures. Even now, some of them are available in YouTube. And sometimes when I get time, I do hear to him. So I always very fond of his lectures. And certain things he told in that young age, I heard from him. They are still in my memory, and they protect me. Because such wonderful things he said. One day in one of the talks about Krishna, he started telling, Krishna is all with all the girls' ornaments he's having. It was because Yashoda, Krishna did not grow up in Devaki's place. Devaki gave birth to Krishna. But you all know that how Krishna was taken by Vasudeva to Yashoda's place. And he kept that baby there. And Yashoda had delivered a girl baby. And that Vasudeva brought to this jail. So that story apart. So Yashoda, when she got conceived, so she started praying to Mother Durga. She said, "Oh Mother Durga, I want a daughter. I want a girl baby like you." That was her prayer. So when the pregnancy is advancing, then she started collecting certain materials for the would-be born baby. Because she knows that I have prayed to Mother Durga, I'm going to get a baby child, so a baby, a female baby. So she thought, let me have all the things ready for the baby. This is being done by all the parents. In the world, we always see the parents get ready to receive the new bundle of joy, as they say. So when the bundle of joy arrives, so you must be ready to receive it. So you must have everything ready. So she was also getting ready. So since she knew in her mind that she's going to deliver a baby girl, so she did everything required for a baby girl. But then the vidhi, the fate is different. And the meantime, Vasudeva came and took the baby girl and put the baby boy there. At that time, she was completely unconscious. She was sleeping. And when she got up and she saw a baby boy, she was surprised. Now, what will happen to all those things that she has prepared for the baby girl? So she put it on Krishna. So Krishna has got golusu, that the thing you put it on the feet. And then all the girls' ornaments, you put it to Krishna. So that you think of something and happens something. So why I brought this is that you are the man and you are the woman. So Krishna, as a boy, you may think, but for Yashoda, he was a girl only. And at a different stages, the God will reveal to us who is he You do not know. So the devotee has to say, I do not know what gender you are. Oh Lord, sometimes you appear as a woman, sometimes you appear as a man. I do not know who you are. And then he says, so you may tell me that step aside, go away. I am not wanted to you. So you may tell me, step aside, go away. But still, O Durga, I will cling to thee, he says. You may throw me out. You may kick me out. No matter. O Durga, I am not so easily to give up. I am going to cling to you. And then unto thy feet. This is very important, the feet. The holy feet of the Lord, always you must remember. In a famous Tamil book called Tirukkural, the first chapter speaks about the glory of God. And Thiruvalluvar, the poet, does not speak about God with form. What is his face, what is his arms, what weapons he's carrying, all those things. But he speaks only about the feet of the Lord. So whoever be the Lord, whatever be the name you give, that 10 verses are equally applicable to anybody. So you can see that only the feet he speaks about. So he says, I am holding to your feet. And how are the feet? Your anklets I shall cling. Because they are making the tinkling sound. The sound cannot be stopped because you are always movement. Prakriti is moving. Prakriti doesn't stop for a moment. It is not dead. It is live and it is always moving. So if you imagine Prakriti as Mother Durga, and then that Mother Durga is moving all the time, so her anklets are always making shaken, and that will give you sound. What is the sound it gives? Tinkling sound it gives. That type of feet, I am clinging to that. So, Mother, you cannot throw me out. That is how the pujari says beautifully. And then he says, Mother, when as the kite thou soarest in the sky, kite, means eagle. When you become an eagle and you go at the top level of the sky, and in the water beneath, in the ocean, I will become like a minnow, a small fish, and I will be in the waters. And then you will pounce upon me and pierce my body through thy claws. Thus, at that time, the breath of life leaves my body. I'm going to die and I'm dying. At that time, do not deny the shelter of thy lotus feet. How beautifully the poet puts it, no? These are all great, great experience of the physical world's sufferings. When you are thrown into one after another, suffering after suffering, I tell our devotees nowadays, none of you is experiencing such type of difficulties which Ram Prasad experienced, which Kamalakanta experienced, which the great saints in those days, Tulsidas experienced. None of us. We don't have that type of difficulties anymore. They are all thrown to the brink. But the poet says, no, even at that time, by your claws, you are breaking my body and making my prana leave, the life force to leave my body. At that time, do not deny me. You are a place at your lotus feet. May I go and stay there? So here there's a note says, according to Hindu mythology, the Divine Mother at one time took the form of a bird similar to the kite, that is eagle. It's the Hindu mythology, what is referred here. So in the story of Krishna, before Krishna's birth, Kansa, his uncle heard a voice from heaven. The 8th child of your sister Devaki is going to be the Yama, the death for you. That is what it announced. So he was waiting for the 8th child. So 1, 2, 3, etc. 7 children gone, 6 children gone. 1 is abortion, 7th was aborted, and 8th child he was waiting. And the 8th child was born. It was Lord Krishna. Krishna was born and he commanded Vasudeva, you please take me to Yashoda's place and place me near Yashoda and bring the child which she has delivered. That was a baby girl. So Vasudeva brought the baby girl. But then, when the news reached Kansa comes to kill the other 6 children that he has killed as earlier. Every child used to take by his hands and dash the child on a rock that was kept outside the jail. That rock is still visible. If you go to Mathura, you can see. So in that rock, he would put that child, and the child will break into pieces. So died. So the 8th child has come. She was really afraid. All the time he's thinking about the 8th child. Is going to kill me. How it is going to kill me, let me see. And then he comes to the jail and then sees the child. But the child is a girl baby. He didn't expect. A girl baby cannot kill me. And how to kill a girl baby now? Even if you take for granted, Devatas have made some plan to kill through this the girl child, then I must kill this girl child. But how to kill that? But then, very daringly, he took the girl child and he held the baby by her legs and dashed on the rock. At that very moment, the moment the baby's body separated from his hands, the baby did not go and get dashed on the rock. Instead of that, the baby sprang and she appeared as Mother Durga with the Ashtabhuja, 8 arms, and she stood on the sky and she laughed and laughed and laughed. Kansha just looked above and seeing that Devi, what is this? What is this magic? That's what he's thinking. And that Devi said, hey, Murk, you fool, she says. You are a fool. The boy who is going to kill you is growing up somewhere. And she disappeared. When she disappeared, how did she disappear? The Durga form got disappeared. Instead of Durga form, she took the form of a kite, of a eagle. And that taking the form of eagle, she traversed all the way to a place called Vindhyachal. Today, Vindhyachal is a great holy place of pilgrimage. I had been blessed to visit that place also and see that place. Ganges is there. And near the Ganga river, it's a beautiful temple has come up. And the 3 Devi Murtis, that is, one Kali and one Saraswati, one Lakshmi. All the 3 are there. And Vindhyachala Devi, she's a Kali Rupa. So the Durgarupa also is there in that place. And then she's there. And you can go there and see that what a wonderful spiritual vibration is there in that temple. Though it is very crowded many days, but the day we went, of course, it was very less people are there. So we could see that. And then you can take a boat and go on a boat trip also in the Ganges. Very beautiful place. So in Vindhyachal, she went and stayed there. So the passage from Mathura to Vindhyachal, she passed through the sky in the form of a kite. That is what the poet is referring to that. So when you take the kite form and was moving, at that time under the waters, I become like a small fish. And the kites, when they see the fish under the very clear water, so what happens? They just swoop down and then take the fish. So when you take, and then you are holding me by your feet, and then with your claws, you are breaking me to kill, to eat. At that time, when my life force is going away, but please do not deny my place at your feet. That's what he's wondering. So the master saluted the divine image. Before departure, you must salute. If you go to any place where the image worship is done, at the entrance, when you go there, you have to salute. And then when you go out also, at that time, you have to salute. So here in Ireland, we have got a devotee, and the devotee's child comes and tells me always, Maharaj, this is the first pranam. And then while going, again, that girl or boy will come and make pranam. I said, why you are making pranam? You are done already. No, while going also I have to do. See, this is Ramakrishna's teaching. By his life, what he shows us, the master saluted the divine image. As he came down the steps, he called softly to Rakha. With such a highest mind going into Brahmagyani, that Brahmagyani's mind, you see, suddenly has come down and is asking Rakha, where are my shoes? He's not finding his shoes. Because in a place of worship, hundreds of people will be coming. And we Indians do not have proper method to keep the shoes. So that's why in Ramakrishna Mission Center, we keep properly. We give the token also. And then take the token like that, and everywhere you do. But in most of the temples, etc., nowadays, of course, we are becoming more business-like and more disciplined. We are able to do. But generally in the villages, etc., nobody cares. You put your shoes somewhere, and then when you come back, you can't find. Like your same shoes, there are hundreds of shoes are there. Which one you will take? So Master slowly, softly is asking Rakha, where are my shoes? Are they missing? Then we understand, we imagine the Rakhal or some devotee must have brought his shoes, and then he would have gone. As the master got into the carriage, Surendra and other devotees bowed down before him because he is an invited guest at Surendra's place. So when master is going out and getting into the carriage, and the carriage is going to start, where you have to say Durga, Durga. At that time, Surendra is standing there with the other devotees and they are seeing him off. That is the proper way. Then the carriage started for Dakshineswar. The moon still lighted the streets. It was a Purnima, so the moonlight was there. What a beautiful written script of Yam. He always brings to us the entire scene before our mind as if that scene happened today. So we are grateful and we are blessed to go through this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We shall meet again further next week. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampadrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.